Kenoforiata and the partner in crime a friend of Sedina Tamakloe Udani Free Ghana has former Maslock CEO Udani Free Ghana Ordinity a Kokoshe US Abontin so ene US abino Sisiano deportation process no ria omodina baby pimo ewo Ghana or babe 10 years imprisonment enye asam keto Accra intimame or ye former Maslock CEO former Maslock CEO Sedina Tamakloe abusuya yenya extradite na abusuya sisi akenoforiata or da onda ene maame no ababe pimo ewo airport Accra International Airport ama esi BNI for omo apekene apo ho a omo eba be shaase na chese ni jail term no 10 years jail term na ye de tone so no oba be 7 and maame no almost 70 plus a year charges and I the born the corruption charges so 70 plus $6 million be maame no obuma ene sisia no ye nyade na babe pimu ewo Ghana say odwane ye no US aban finally wanya extradite no edina ba Ghana oba be serve eye nete mom yenko na yenkonkuti ensma your course on subscribe ya subscribe na hit it on the notification bell send be ya any update be ebe drop no wonso wonsa ebetumi akabina busuya ansana ye be kono Ghana has say open computer papa and laptop papa na where use the Abora Perosi computers and accessories. Ubora Perosi computers and accessories. And I'll be your laptop papa na where use the first number ya egusu 0247 030 108 and I say 0597 942 133. Say first number screen when your Perosi computers are 0540 882 824 Perosi computers and accessories. Ni location and your Brookroom Estate Kumasi se Oba Kumasi a Brookroom Estate se ho ena Obenya Perosi computers and accessories.
News. Former Chief Executive Officer of the Microfinance and Small Loan Center, Sedina Tamakloe has finally been extradited to Ghana following her extradition from the United States to serve a 10-year prison sentence imposed on her by the Accra High Court. U.S. District Court in April this year orders the extradition of the former CEO of Maslock, Sedina Tamakloe, who had been convicted and jailed by the Accra High Court in absentia for stealing and causing financial loss to the state. Tamakloe failed to return to Ghana after she was granted permission by the High Court in 2021 to seek medical treatment in the U.S. She arrived at the Accra International Airport on Tuesday, June 9th, aboard United Airlines flight UA996, which we understand a few hours ago after departing from Dallas International Airport in Washington, D.C., excuse me. Authorities are expected to completes the necessary administrative security and medical procedures before transferring her into custody of the Ghana Prison Service, where she will begin serving her 10-year custodial sentence handed down by the Accra High Court. Over the last few minutes, less than an hour ago, we know that the U.S. Embassy here in Ghana has commented on the matter. I want to show you what they have been saying. Start off saying, justice has no borders. The United States has extradited, as we have told you already, Sedina Tamakloe to Ghana following her conviction on 70-plus corruption-related charges, including embezzling more than $6 million equivalent in Ghanaian taxpayer funds. This is our strong U.S.-Ghana law enforcement partnership in action, demonstrating a shared commitment to accountability and the first extradition from the United States to Ghana since 2009. That is the comment we've got from the United States, the U.S. Embassy here in Ghana in the last hour, or maybe even less, since news broke of Sedina's arrival in Ghana to face the consequences of the crimes, she is convicted of. Now, we'll stay on the subject now and speak to constitutional lawyer John Kwame Quayson, who has keenly been following this particular case. Counsel, good afternoon to you. Finally, Sedina is in Ghana to face the consequences of the crime she's been convicted of. This is good, isn't it?
Yeah, good afternoon, my sister. And I like the way you said finally. But anyway, much as it might be in the interest of some Ghanaians, I think this is not the main extradition or deportation Ghanaians are looking at. They really are in anticipation of what transpired or what happened finally with the case of Honorable Kenneth Atta. I see there are two legs to this. In the heat of Kenneth Atta's brouhaha, then the upsets of this lady's case also came up. Now, some theorists, some commentators are of the view that this lady is being brought in as sort of conduit in getting Oforiatta's case finally dispensed with.
How
now,
so?
My initial reaction will be that I think it's in order. It's victory for our legal dispensation. At least for so many years, we haven't heard of any successful extradition in our country. So whether this is what Ghanaians are looking out for or not, there has been an extradition. Now let's use 1 second just to clarify for the sake of our viewers and listeners. We do have deportation and then we do have the extradition. Mm-hmm. The deportation leg mostly comes when it has to do with breaches of immigration laws and so on and so forth. But this particular one, as you have rightly indicated, is the extradition part, where it mostly involves criminalities of citizens involving one state and then having to find themselves in another country. Ghana, and it doesn't come automatically. We should have some diplomatic arrangement with the state on the other side. Fortunately for us as a country, we have that diplomatic arrangement with the United States of America. We have a extradition treaty with them.
Indeed, so which is why she's here, and the communication so far from U.S. authorities talks about extradition and not deportation. I want us to stay on the subject matter because then she's here now. The question for the Ghanaian people in terms of the legal processes she's likely to follow now, what does the law say?
Let me go right away into it. So the legal processes is that because it's extradition, the U.S. will make the effort, transport her all the way from their country onto our shores here. And when the first point of call is our airport, the immigration at the airport will receive her. They will try and ascertain whether it is his real identity. And then they also find out whether she's in good condition of health. When these two main issues are ascertained with, then the immigration doesn't do things with criminality. They will hand her over to our police system. Then the police will go through whether actually there's a conviction order or sentencing order. Then if that is so, then the authorities will decide whether they should take her to court for the court to pronounce further orders, or as the sentence has already been done with, there isn't any further procedure after sentencing. So she will have to be taken straight to any of our prisons, whether in Sawam or whatever the Ghana Prison Service will agree
I see,
on.
Counsel.
So at the moment, this is the first procedure.
So, Counsel, you're telling us that if the Attorney General wanted for absconding justice, further punishment could be prescribed for her?
That is not an automatic one. It's a matter of the court to decide. Then we will have to restart the entire process because legally, when you sentence, the court arms are tied. There's nothing prosecution can do again unless you may want to take steps. And the steps are said that you are not coming to re-litigate over the same matter.
Well, so I guess what I'm asking is there any punishment for absconding justice?
No, it doesn't happen that way automatically. If you want to bring in punishment, then you are going to make a completely different case on that. But as it stays, her conviction has been given, her sentencing has also been passed. So all that remained was for her to serve her sentence. So whether she's been away for 30 years, 50 years or not is immaterial. But the court, you see, before sentencing, also took into consideration the fact that she had already absconded. She wasn't in the country when the sentence was passed. So the court factored in all that. But maybe they may will consider the aspect that whilst the sentence was also pending, she still refused to come back to face justice until the Ghana government took some other steps in bringing her here. In that case, the state may want appeal. The court will have to sit over an appeal that the sentence that you gave her because of ABC. But you see, ordinarily, the court wouldn't entertain anything outside of being outside or absconding. The court would rather deal with the facts and the case put before it. And the matter has been dealt with already.
I see. So essentially, there are so many ways that this could turn out, especially when you tell us that, look, once the court had handed down the prison sentence, counting had begun. The court is blind to the fact that she has not been in jail since, the sentencing in 2024. And so the last 2 years, as far as the court is concerned, unless, the Attorney General returns to court, the court sees it as she was serving her sentence. So she has 8 more years to go.
So. The status quo must remain. But the challenge, the difficulty we are having here is that usually in our part of the country, apart from the legal side, our leaders, authorities are letting us know that everything, every issue, especially when it's a high-profile case involving a public official, then we should look at it from the spectacle of politics. You get it? So the political leg is the aspect that some feel that is cascading something that the government of the day is trying to employ, so that they will bring her in, hurriedly go and apply for appeal. Then before we realize she's already being given bail, she doesn't have to be inside there. And then she will enjoy all the period. And then in between, there will be an appeal for her, and then she goes scot-free.
Well,
and that is where
we do not, counsel, we do not know yet if that is indeed a statement. No, hang on. So what I'm saying is we can't even preempt that way. We can't preempt that way. But here's what I can ask you to do. If Sedina Tamakloe were to go back to the course, can she successfully appeal the sentencing after absconding for 2 years?
Yes, she can also do that. And that's why I'm saying that in our part of the world, after you and I are done with the legal aspect, we shouldn't also go blind. We should also face the realities. Let the viewers and the listeners know that this is the position of the law. But there's also the aspect that everything will be reduced into Ghana politics. And then at the end of the day, the law will become useless. So that ordinarily, Sedina herself can also go on an appeal. Are you getting it? And then the court will look into it, whether her sentence should be reduced or be made to go scot-free. It's a matter of the court to look into that aspect also. But it is either the lady or the state prosecution to go on an appeal. But as it is now, the matter has rightly gone before the court. It's been dealt with. And what is pending is her sentence. So both parties will have to decide what they want to do next. And then the law will take its normal course. But as it is now, it is a prison sentence.
Counsel, I hear you. All I was saying is that I do not have reason to conjecture at this point that the judiciary or the executive could influence the fate of Sedina at this point, apart from what we know her to have come into the country to do, which is to face the rest of her jail term. But here's something I want you to talk about. Why do you think that her coming to Ghana is giving people hope that perhaps the former finance minister may also be on his way, perhaps anytime soon, to the country.
Yeah, it has always been the desire. That's why in my preamble statement I did indicate it has always been the desire for many or majority of the citizens to see Kenneth Atta back home, whether he did anything wrong or he didn't do anything wrong. The fact is that they want him to also to come and face justice. I think it gets to a time that the citizens feel some political leaders should be brought to justice or account for their stewardship whilst in office. It can't be business as usual, that because your government is in power, can't do whatever you want. At the end of the day, go scot-free. And that is really the desire of most Ghanaians. And they hope that anytime soon, Kenneth Atta should also come. At least it has arisen, the sentiment is come to Qatar, the dirty waters again, and then the public's attention is going to be on Kenneth Atta again. The U.S. government is also going to be made aware of the fact that Ken's case is also pending, and that they will do Ghana good by bringing him also back to Ghana to face justice.
Counsel, I appreciate your time with us this afternoon. John Kwame Kwesi is a constitutional lawyer. We've just been looking at that breaking news in the last hour of this day that the former Maslow CEO, who's been convicted of financial crimes, supposed to serve a 10-year jail term, has been extradited from the U.S. to Ghana. She has arrived in the country. What we expect to happen is that processes will now follow for her to serve that jail sentence. But we've been looking at this in the context of the law, and which is why we brought in the constitutional lawyer, John Kwesi, on this matter. We'll stay on this as it evolves. We'll bring you more updates here on News Central. In the meantime, public universities across Ghana could be heading toward another industrial showdown as the University Teachers Association of Ghana threatened to withdraw their services by June 12 if government fails to address two key demands. Now, what are those? The association says it will embark on a nationwide strike if authorities do not release the dollar exchange rate required to process this year's book and research allowance. Benefit lecturers say is critical to supporting their teaching, research, and publication work. Now, UTAG is also demanding that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission concludes negotiations and sign a memorandum of understanding on the conditions of service for university lecturers by the same deadline. Now, the latest ultimatum follows years of tension between the association and government over delays in the payment of book and research allowance and prolonged negotiations on conditions of service. Dr. Samuel K. Zegla is National Secretary of UTAG. He's joining us for a bit more on this story. Doc, look at us. We're back here on the same topic of book and research allowance. Why is this surfacing again when government has talked about the release of exchange rates and the likes to teachers, I think sometime last year?
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to your viewers. Yes, we are back here again. Every year by March of the year, the Ministry of Finance releases the dollar rate for the computation of book and research allowance for senior members of public universities. We have been following this for several weeks. We have written to our sector minister, who informed us that he took the matter up with the Finance Ministry. I must mention that just a few seconds before we came on air, we have sent a letter from the Finance Ministry. Just a few seconds.
Okay, abusuan we ne ensema ekọ so ewo political highway ne so yes Sedina Tamakloe and I say US aban no e de na bagana ye de ho ensem ebrem unsubscribe ya subscribe na hit on the notification bell so na be any update be able drop no won so won sa ebetumi akabi medamase.